ahead and get going. I appreciate those of you who went in and added our journal prompt there in the chat, what usually steals your attention away. And thank you to, I think it was Angela for kicking us off there. No, I'm wrong. Jam. Yeah. Steals your attention not only in the morning, but all day, always playing catch up. Yeah, everyone's always taking our attention away. So a lot of people reference the phone. For me, I've avoided the phone, which you'll hear about later, for the first hour of the day, if not longer. So it's really, at this point, I'm distracted mainly by, distracting thoughts that keep me out of focus, distracting thoughts about financial pressures and work projects. That steals my attention, and an indicator that I should be doing other things. Yeah, kids and husbands steal your attention away, Marianne, which is why we always try to create some time for ourselves that we can try to be focused on being centered in our intention for the day. Yeah, medical and mind wandering that as well. Yeah, totally. Well, I'm really glad that you all are here, and thank you so much for putting some of those answers in and being vulnerable and telling you what distracts you. Most of those are deeply personal, and it's good to share that together. And I appreciate you doing that. I see your responses there, and we're going to continue to do some sharing. And I'm glad you made that time for yourself today. And now that we are getting ready to go, let's do, if it's your first time to one of our workshops, you'll learn we always start out with a little bit of grounding, sort of a meditation of sorts for just a minute. So if you can join me in, if you're able to, sit down or be it's fine if you stand or even lay down, just somewhere you're able to find some calm. And maybe that's just by, if you can, close your eyes or bring your gaze down low. If closing your eyes isn't comfortable, that's okay. But if you can, close your eyes and then let's focus on our breath. So you want to notice the air coming in and out through your nose, if possible, breathing through your nose. Just feeling that flow of air, the air coming in and out through the base of your nostrils. And maybe you just feel air passing over that little space between the bottom of your nose and the top of your lip. Feel that presence. Feel the air coming in and going out. And you might feel warm air, cool air coming in and warm air going out. Notice a little bit of difference in the temperature. As we're focusing on the breath, we're not distracted by our thoughts. Instead, we're focusing on our vital life force energy, that air, that breath. Our breath is our constant companion. It is always there for us, always there to calm us down in intense moments in life, always there to release that anxiety in our hearts and our chests that we feel overwhelmed by all the things that take our attention every day, that distract us from our true purpose, from our higher purpose, from our higher power in life. Your breath is always there to remind you and bring you back. Your breath is just a reminder to return to your center, return to that breath. Continue to notice that circular breath, the air coming in and going out, just noticing an inhale followed by an exhale. And I'll remain silent for a moment and just allow you to focus on your breath. Now that you've noticed your breath, let's do a few clearing breaths. And let's do that by taking what we're going to do. I'll describe it first and then we can do it together. And that is, you want to take a deep breath in through your nose, then we're going to hold it at the top and then sigh it out. So if you can, please join me in taking a deep breath in through your nose, hold it, and then sigh it out. Audibly let it come out through your mouth, feeling the air passing over the roof of your mouth, and take another deep breath in through your nose, taking little sips of air as much as you can deep down into your lungs, and then sigh it out. Feel ourselves getting calmer, feeling the anxiety just go away. Take one more deep breath in, deep, deep breath, taking little sips of air as much as you can deep down into your lungs. Keep taking little sips of air as much as you can deep down into your belly. Hold it. Now let it all go. All right, we are now grounded and a little bit more present. And what we're going to do today is we're going to design something deeply personal, your epic daily ritual. It's a simple morning and evening routine that helps you start your day with purpose and end with clarity. So wherever you are right now, just take another slow breath in and breath out. And we're going to set our intention for the day. This workshop is not about doing more. It's about creating space for the things in your life that make you feel like your true self so that you can live with more intention, clarity, and presence every day. So speaking of intention, let's just take a moment. If you want to close your eyes, great. If not, that's okay. Just maybe put your hands on your heart, maybe your left hand followed by your right hand, or even put your hands together, your palms together, hands on your heart, thumb knuckles touching your heart, closing your eyes, and take just a couple seconds to set your intention for today's workshop. What do you hope to gain? How do you hope to live differently? What do you hope will change your life for the better by being here today? Set your intention. All right. Now that you're clear, let's get going. And let's hope that you get what you came here for. So nothing needs to be perfect before we get going. Just know that nothing needs to be copied from anyone else. I'm going to offer some solutions and the things that work very well in my life and research shows are productive, but this is about you. If it feels good, just do the things that are recommended here. And I'll give you a bunch of different tools to use. Some of them are great and you'll identify with, and others you won't. So pause for just a moment and ask yourself, what do I want more of in my days right now? And maybe you want to write that down or share it in the chat. What do you want more of in your days right now? What do I want more of in my days right now? And pull out your journal or piece of paper. Take 30 seconds here and think about it. And you can share that in the chat if you want. You can also, you're always welcome. Let me make a couple of announcements right now. And that is, first, feel free to share. Always share. You can always just come off mute and shout it out. This is about sharing and learning and growing together. So don't hesitate. Love hearing from everyone. You can put it in the chat. If you want to be quiet, you can take yourself off mute and shout it out. I want to hear what you have to say. So don't hesitate. Always share. You can be on video if you want to, be on video and unmute if you want to talk. Happy to hear you. So don't hesitate to do that. You can share in the chat. A couple other things, a couple other announcements to make are we will be sharing today's recording. So it will be available to you along with the resources that we discussed today, including the Epic Daily Ritual the High Performers Guide. We will be making that available too. So I think that covers most of it. And then we'll be making a couple of announcements at the end as well. But yeah, don't hesitate to share and provide things that we will make the recording available. So don't feel like you have to write everything down or remember everything, because you'll be able to watch later. You'll be able to use the tools that we talk about, and you'll have this available to you. So you know, if you want to put that in, great. What you want more of, that's wonderful. What do you want more of in your days right now? Jeff, wants some more time helping people in person. Yeah, I mean, we all feel so isolated nowadays, spending so much time online and on our phones, and being together with people makes a big difference. Angela wants more focus and peace, see completion of goals at the end of the day. And that probably comes with simplifying as well, fewer to-dos and more time just taking care of the one or two things that are most important. And Deborah would like some time in God's word for a faith that pleases God. And I know that your faith does, Deborah. I want to continue to work on being consistent and disciplined. Yeah, that's great. And, we have some tools that certainly help in consistency and discipline. So by all means, we will have some things there for you as well. So let's get going on why rituals matter. This is the difference between ritual versus routine. I mean, so we could call this, productive daily routines, but that's not what this is about. Most people already have routines, which, are things we do at certain times every day. And maybe you wake up and make coffee. Maybe you spend your lunch break scrolling social media. Maybe you listen to the same radio station on the way home from work. Those are rituals. Those are routines. I misspoke. Don't get me wrong. Those are routines. Routines are just repeated actions. They also often happen accidentally, as a product of our busy lives, rather than our own desires or intention. They can be positive or negative or provide nothing at all. A routine is functional. A ritual is intentional. A ritual has meaning. It says, this time matters. The ritual says, I matter. My goals, hopes, and dreams matter. At the beginning and end of the day, these times are the most powerful because they shape how you enter the world at the beginning of the day and how much you carry into tomorrow. When mornings are rushed, the day feels reactive. When we're just doing, responding to others, the day is reactive. When evenings lack closure, your nervous system never really shuts down or shuts off. So many people nowadays say, I have trouble shutting down. And you carry your burdens with you into tomorrow, which is why we bookend the day with rituals and purpose. Morning is, for grounding, clarifying and aligning. The evening is time to reflect, release, and prepare. Plan for the next day. This isn't self-care as indulgence. This is mature self-leadership. This is your taking ownership of your precious time and energy and setting yourself up for daily success. Now, grab that pen and piece of paper again. And I want you to write down, 3 things you do when you wake up. What are the first 3 things that you do when you wake up? Hey, take a few more minutes, or sorry, a few more seconds to get that down. I put mine there. The first three things I do when I wake up is I say to myself, it's going to be an amazing day. Then I get out of bed. I don't look at the phone. I may grab it to turn off an alarm and take it with me, but I don't look at it. I don't look at it for at least an hour or more. And then I go into the bathroom, look in the mirror, and say, I love you. And then I head off to meditate. And that way, I have nothing to react to. There's nothing on the phone. There's no text or social media or calls that I've looked at or emails that I've responded to or looked at or that came in. It's invisible to me for at least the first hour. Now it's sort of like the first 2 hours of the day, I really go through without doing that stuff. And then I sit down to, I say I love you in the mirror, and then I sit down to meditate, spend time with my higher power. Yeah. iPad user says, thank God for a new day. Pray, drink water, work out. That's a beautiful way to start the day. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Deborah, yeah, it's going to be an amazing day. That's great. Drink water, let the dog out, listen to a meditation podcast. Beautiful, Jam. That's a great way to start the day. Awesome. Let's see. Because I serve an amazing God, groom while I pray. Get to the word. Yes. Yeah, Dana. Hey, Dana. Good to see you again. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, it's not visible, but I'll remember iPad 4 is our buddy Dana. Good to see you again, sister. Let's see. And Angela, yeah, totally functional. Yeah, hearing aids, eye drops, brush teeth. Yeah, and look, hey, those are great ways to start your day. Just don't roll in the looking at your phone or getting stuck in other people's nonsense. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you all for sharing those. And if anyone else wants to put those in, by all means, do so. And now that we've talked about what we're doing now, and most of you are pretty spot on. And I know we always have more to learn and grow with, but let's work now on designing our epic morning ritual. And we're going to go beyond just what you do when you first wake up. We're going to go beyond the first minute or two you're awake. And a couple of people said drink water, so I'm going to take just a second here and drink a little water. Power of suggestion. It made me thirsty when everyone said they start the day drinking water. All right. So in designing our epic daily ritual, what you got to remember is that the purpose of rituals is to give yourself the space you need for living at your best. The goal of the morning ritual is not productivity, although you will become far more productive by undertaking the epic morning ritual, meaning your life will be more centered. And when you do focus, you will be more productive. But the meaning of the morning ritual is presence before input. That's the main message here, is presence, being present in your day before filling it with all of the stuff that's here on the phone, or turning on the TV, or putting something into your brain or your body that is not that takes you away from your presence, from being here now, from being fully available in your life to yourself. Most mornings begin with phones, news, messages, and other people's priorities. I mean, I'm going to say, if you've never been on one of our workshops or our weekly Inspiration Nation community happy hour, you may not know this, but if you're new to us, to Inspiration Nation, I have 7 kids from 4 to 17. I get up at 5 a.m. to make sure that I have at least an hour to an hour and a half before interacting with anything work related or even with my family, because they're all still asleep. I make that time so that I can be fully present in my own life before all of that anxiety comes in, before everyone else's problems and priorities steal my attention and steal my connection to my higher power. I make sure that I focus that time. So just giving you a little context of other people's priorities and why it's so important to focus on our priorities first. You can't care for others if you don't care for yourself first. And so many of us are responsible for caring for children and spouses and parents, elderly parents. I know a lot of us have that take on that. I don't want to call it a burden, a gift, even though it's a challenge. Your ritual creates a buffer between you and the noise of the world. So think of your morning ritual as a way to say, I decide how this day begins. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that you got to get up earlier. I mean, some of the things I'm talking about, you may even do sometime before noon. I'm just saying we want to get those in. But it does create that buffer between you and the outer world. Think of your morning ritual as a way to say, I decide how this day begins. The best rituals are simple, repeatable, and grounded in your natural energy, grounded in your true self. What I mean by that is it feels right to you. Instinctually that what you're doing serves your highest and best self and serves your higher power and makes you feel connected to the source of all that is. You know that feeling. You know that feeling. You know when you are operating as your true self, in touch with your higher power. So today we're going to start your day off right with 2 easy habits. I already mentioned when I did mine that you can do in the first 2 minutes you're awake and set you up for success each day. The first habit is, as soon as your feet hit the floor, say to yourself, it's going to be an amazing day. I've gotten the point, I did this so much for a couple of years. I started doing it as soon as I'm conscious. I say to myself, it's going to be an amazing day. So much so that I feel that. I don't even have to think it and say it anymore. I feel that. Now, to be honest, today, I have a lot of challenges I'm dealing with, and so those crept in. So it wasn't till I was I laid awake in sort of a meditative state for a little bit. And when I became sort of a little bit more aware after letting go of some of that stress and anxiety and, the distracting thoughts, I then said to myself, it's going to be an amazing day. But, as soon as your feet hit the floor or as soon as your eyes start to open, say to yourself, it's going to be an amazing day. Even if you have tons of challenges, even if today is going to be a struggle, it's still an amazing day. Every day, God gives you 24 hours to do with whatever you see fit. And you're going to get challenges thrown at you. We all do every single day. And I feel that. And I am sorry for any of the challenges or struggles that you are dealing with. And I'm dealing with mine too. And we're going to deal with them together. But you are alive in this beautiful world. And it is going to be an amazing day. You're not lying to yourself. Some people have said to me, well, why do I say that if it's not, am I lying or not telling the truth if I have so much bad going on? It is only your thinking mind telling you it's bad. Because no matter what the challenge is, it can be happening for you, not to you. It can be making your life better. You may be going through those challenges right now so you can get to the best place you've ever been. And you may not get there, or you may have never gotten there unless you knew the challenge, unless you knew that struggle. So it is going to be an amazing day. Every day is a new day to live and learn and love. So doing this, saying to yourself it's going to be an amazing day, training yourself to do that, you're already in the right frame of mind before you even see yourself with love in the mirror, which we'll talk about in just a second. By expressing this, you're already grateful for the new day, ready to create what you intend to create, and excited to start your day with intention. You have set the course for the day and made a better life before you have done anything else. You already took control of your life by just saying to yourself, it's going to be an amazing day. This is powerful. You're now being proactive at the very first step of your day, or at the very first flutter of your eyes, you are awakening when you say that. Your spirit is awakened. You're not being led by the thinking mind. You're being led by the conscious mind. For years, I was on the hamster wheel like a lot of us, just going through the motions. In 2018, I had a complete awakening, and I decided I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I decided to work on improving myself and to start growing again. I read The Power of Intention by Dr. Wayne Dyer, who recommends to look into a mirror, make eye contact with yourself, and say, I love you. After I read that, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Okay, I'll try it. Sounds easy enough, right? Just look into a mirror and say, I love you. But it's harder than you think. It felt a little awkward for me at first. Now, I've always been a loving, happy person, positive person. But like many of us, I'm also really critical of myself. And I let the challenges occupy my mind. And I let my chest get tight with anxiety, and I let it sit there for too long instead of learning how to breathe through it. Instead of learning how to be the observer of my thoughts, where you're able to say, I see that thought pattern happening again. I'm thinking those negative thoughts. I'm dealing with these struggles. But instead of being the struggles, you observe the struggles. You observe what's going on. That's how you're able to change it. So in being critical of myself, when I looked in the mirror, I didn't just see love, but I did keep doing it. And after a while, it didn't feel so awkward. Saying I love you in the mirror each morning starts to feel warm and heartfelt. I keep doing it and start living in this constant state of love, happiness, and bliss. When you see the light and love in yourself, it allows you to see the light and love in everything and in everyone else. And even today, after doing this for I don't know how many years, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, I don't even know. I'm dealing with some struggles right now, and I looked in the mirror this morning and I said, I love you. And it's such an amazing show of grace and self-love. And it reaffirms your connection to yourself and allows you to be the observer, that you are in control of that love and that light within. And it is you to see within yourself and spread far and wide. You get what you ask for in life. So you want to stop asking for what you already have and start a new narrative. Put love and happiness on a continual loop in your mind. Start the day seeing love in the mirror. So, here are 4 absurdly easy steps to start living the life of your dreams. First, wake up. Second, look yourself in the mirror. Third, say, I love you. And fourth, repeat. Do that again and again, day in and day out, day after day, year after year, because even today, after doing this for years, I still needed it today. I needed it today now more than ever to remind me not to give up, not to be self-critical, to maintain that light with it. Now, I said they were absurdly easy because you already do steps 1 and 2. I'm just saying add steps 3 and 4. And 4 is just really do it again. So it's really just one thing. Just say I love you in the mirror and just keep doing it because it makes a big difference. And if it's this simple and takes no more than a few seconds each morning and costs absolutely nothing, then you can start today. This can have a huge impact on your happiness and sets the stage for a great day, regardless of what happens. So let's talk about your building blocks. Now we want to turn this from, yeah, I see, Ben, you're saying, stay positive and love myself, but it goes beyond that. We're going to go into creating building blocks for creating a strong morning routine. And now you don't need to do all of these. I'm just saying, here are the building blocks of your epic morning ritual. Now, keep in mind, this is called the epic morning ritual or the epic daily ritual workshop. We're not talking about just here's some stuff that starts your day off okay. We're talking epic morning ritual here, people. So what's epic? How do you do that? Here's some of the stuff you do. Stillness, awareness, intention, energy, and inspiration. Now, you don't have to do all these, but for example, stillness, breathing, silence, meditation. Life is so crazy and hectic now. Just find some stillness. It allows you to reset your nervous system. It allows you to find your breath and connect with the source of all that is, the eternal source of light and love. And the more you're silent, the more you hear that voice and see that light. And next is awareness. Let's talk about awareness. Being aware, like I said, being the observer, being aware of your thoughts and emotions, not being the thinker, because that crazy active mind is always thinking. I think I said in last week's workshop, that you probably heard me say it before, the people there have said in research that there's 60,000, roughly, the average person has roughly 60,000 thoughts per day. And I don't know who the heck is responsible for counting my thoughts, but apparently they say there's 60,000 of them, and you do too, or roughly 60,000 of them. Now, I don't know how you would gauge that or measure that, but people are responsible for measuring such things. Tell us there's 60,000. And those thoughts, a lot of them are observational, just here's what's going on in my world. A lot of them are thoughts about our challenges and our circumstances. And a lot of them, some of them are positive and loving and connecting with our family and friends. But when you have awareness of your thoughts, you say, I observe that thought pattern again. You're able to think not from the thinking mind, but from the higher mind, not the lower mind. You observe your thoughts and your thought pattern. So that is awareness and emotional awareness as well. How am I feeling? I'm feeling, happy or sad or frustrated or angry or fulfilled or joyful or just mundane, just the same old, but it is awareness of ourselves, awareness of how we feel and what we're thinking, and even beyond that, our impact of our awareness on others. And journaling is a great way, after meditation or just journaling, to check in with being aware of what's going on, in your life. Not getting stuck in the thoughts, but being aware of the thoughts and aware of the emotions. And next is intention. Another great building block for an epic morning ritual is your intention. Setting that intention like we did. I said, let's put our hands on our heart and discuss our intention for our, I'll call it a workshop. I'm more inclined to call it a practice. We're practicing living a better life together today. This isn't just a workshop like sitting at a classroom. This is a workshop for life. This is our daily practice in improving our lives. So you said, it's the first time I've done it in a workshop was today, where I said, what's our intention for today's workshop? Start your day by setting your intention. How do you want to show up today? Maybe you journal that down, write it down. Maybe you consciously do what we did earlier. Put your hand on your heart, put your hands together with your thumbs touching your heart, one of those. And just say, my intention for today is, maybe it's peace. Maybe it's abundance. Maybe it's try to make some money. Maybe it's get through the day taking care of my crazy kids. Maybe it's asking uh, God's strength as you care for others, or the power to go on carrying a difficult issue with you, medical issue or something. Or maybe it's setting your intention to knock it out of the park because you're doing so well. Maybe it's your intention to go do a great job at work, to be of service. I'm not saying it's all struggle. I know we all deal with struggle, but it can also just be your intention for peace. Maybe it's your intention to be the observer of your thoughts, to be aware today. And next, let's talk about energy. It's another building block. Energy. A lot of people mention one of the first things they do is drink some water, get some hydration, have some light movement, go for a walk. A number of people mention taking their dogs for a walk. Again, we're not looking at the phone. We're not just watching the news. We're not just going in to care for others. Getting some movement. Maybe it's yoga. Maybe it's getting on the treadmill. Maybe it's going for a walk or a run or a bike ride. Get some energy. Maybe it's just, going like this, get your arms moving, just pump some energy into your body. Feel that. It doesn't have to take, I mean, look, I just did that. Yeah, I look crazy, but 5 times, 10 times, just move your body. There you go. Deb's moving her body. Deborah's got it. We should have you direct. All right, let's do what Deborah's doing. Everyone, arms up over our heads. Pull up top and slowly let it down. All right, one more. Sorry, you got me going, Deborah. I've never done this before. Let's go up. And now if you can't really see me, grab your left wrist with your right hand and pull it over the side and stretch your side body. Now we're mixing in some yoga with our workshops. We've never done this before. Deborah's got us moving. All right, arms back to center. And hold your hands above your head. Sorry, it's tough to do with not being zoomed in like that. You're holding the sun up in your hands. Now grab your right hand and take it over to the other side. Or grab your right hand with your left, grab your right wrist with your left hand, pull over the other side, stretch that right side body, feel that stretch along your side body, and then bring it back overhead. Palms facing each other, like you're holding that energy between you, but up above your head. And deep breath in and let it go. All right, let's keep going here. Thanks, that was fun. We've never done that. Deborah got us moving. We're going to start incorporating some movement into our workshops. I love that. Thank you, Deborah, for getting us going. I was just acted like a fool, lifting my hands up and down, but Deborah took that to the next level. All right, so the last one for our epic morning ritual, that feels good. I feel like I woke some heat up. Like I kind of feel it in my shoulders. Like I feel a little bit more heat, more alive. All right. Inspiration. I know that I say, don't look at the phone for the first hour. Here's the exception. If you get inspiration from positive content, that means, watching a Les Brown video, or, watching an inspirational speaker, or reading a book on your Kindle, or, on Apple Books or whatever platform you use, or listening to a book or positive music on Audible or Spotify or something like that. I mean, we have great tools. And maybe it's gratitude, gratitude journaling or reading gratitude quotes, whatever it is, whatever feels right for you. Get some inspiration in the morning. Again, preferably before you absorbed other stuff. But if you can, get some inspiration. Get inspired. Find someone who does what you want to do. Find someone who lives the life that you want to live and listen to their inspiring messages or learn from them. Get some inspiration. So those are the building blocks for an epic morning ritual. Again, you don't have to do all those. Maybe you just want to do, meditation and some exercise, or journaling and, some inspiring content. But these are the building blocks of an epic morning ritual. Now, I want to go a little bit more into some of these. And I guess we'll talk about it at future workshop. I do want to go more into like intentional habits and living aligned, and having intentional habits. And we do talk about those in our aligned habits workshop. So I won't necessarily go into it today. I'll mention it when we talk about the habit tracker. But let's move on. I do want to talk about meditation. I mean, a morning meditation as a daily practice is great, particularly right after you wake up, and does help, combines presence and intention, because it allows you also to set your intention for the day and allows you to be the person you see at the center of your soul. I often say meditation is prayer without asking for anything. It's being in touch with your higher power and in connection with the source of all that is, without necessarily praying for a specific result. So, would you rather start your day by opening your eyes to read an email or text, or by closing your eyes to see who you're meant to be and figure out how to live well? So if you want to really use the capacity of your brain to show you who you are, what you're capable of, and your connection to the universe, wake up and go within. Close your eyes to see. Close your eyes to see. Next, journaling was one of those ones we put in there. Is, once you're done meditating, just take, 2 to 12 minutes. Just take a couple minutes to write down what you thought about, prayed on, or saw in your mind's eye when you were fully present. Write about your challenges, your hopes, your dreams, and your relationships. Write about divine inspiration that you must act on. Just get it out of your head and down on paper. The practice of journaling allows your thoughts to become a reality. It allows you to process the emotions if you're dealing with challenges. It allows you to realize your beautiful dreams and your visions because it makes them real by putting them down on paper. You don't just think about it, see it, and then lose it. When you write it down, you can turn it into action. Now, another building block I want to talk about is the morning flow on your top priority, which means, and this may be work, it may be personal, or it may be spiritual, whatever it is, 60 to 90 minutes of flow on your top priority. That means block, an hour to an hour and a half in your schedule, early in your day, preferably before, 11 or 12, to handle your biggest priority, undistracted. Do something that your future self would do to get you to your big goal. If you haven't done it before, join us for the Aligned Habits Workshop, where we talk about setting your intention as your true self, and then setting big goals to help you live as your true self. And then the habits to help you get you there. But you don't want to delay. You want to do it early in the morning. You want to do the hardest thing first, or as Brian Tracy describes in his book, Eat That Frog. Eat the frog. Do the hardest thing first before you do anything else. If you get your biggest priorities done before noon, the rest of the day is smooth sailing and can be spent communicating with others and handling the minutia, the little things of life and work. Your daily big three priorities, or your rocks, are the most critical actions that you must get done that day to move your goals and your dreams forward. It helps if your big three that you journaled the night before are aligned with your big annual, quarterly, and monthly goals. Don't just do menial tasks each day that keep you stuck on the hamster wheel. Don't get sucked into other people's distractions. Don't spend the day responding to emails and texts. Get your priorities done first. Take control of your life. Take big action to become who you are meant to be. So here are a couple other, tips for building your epic morning ritual. So you want to start small. If 5 a.m. feels like a stretch, try getting up at 6. If journaling feels foreign, then just write down 3 things you're grateful for. The point is, progress is the goal. Try little baby steps first. We got to walk before we can run. Take small steps towards creating an epic morning ritual. Get wins in early. If working out for an hour is too hard, then, just go for a 5-minute walk. Next is you want consistency over perfection. I think someone mentioned earlier, as we were getting going, about consistency. You don't need to check every single box every day, but the more you do, the faster you'll reconnect with your natural, joyful self. You just want some consistency. You want to show yourself that you can be consistent in what you're trying to accomplish. Yeah, I guess it was Dana said, want to continue to work on being consistent and disciplined. Consistency over perfection. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be regular. Do I get to all my epic rituals every single day? Sadly, no, but I do get to most of them. Next, you want anchor to we have why, anchor to your why, but that's your purpose. Why do I do the things that I do? What is your why? What gets you up? What are you working for? What are you living for? What is your purpose? What is your true self meant to do? Anchor to your why. This isn't about productivity for productivity's sake. It's about living as your most joyful and impactful true self. The person in the mirror you truly want to see. If you struggle to define your purpose, then we've got a great course to help address that. It's the True Self Project. I know some of you on here have done it before. If you have not done the True Self Project, it's on our website, and I'm sure we'll provide a link later in the course. But we made that to help you go deep on your purpose, your goals, and your habits. Now, another thing too is another tip for building your epic morning ritual is to use strategic ignorance. Strategic ignorance, which I talk about a lot in our Focused and Free workshop, break the distraction cycle, is block out all the noise of negative news and cell phone and social media and negative people and all the distractions. Choose what you feel your mind, choose what you feed your mind and do it intentionally. Consume only positive content. You don't have to watch, binge watch the Netflix series that everyone's talking about. You don't need to watch that stupid cat video that everyone keeps sending around. It doesn't matter. It's okay to be strategically ignorant. You don't need to be on all the socials that everyone's on. Now, if you get some positive content from them, that's again something a little bit different. But you don't need to just watch all the media that everyone else is watching. It wastes your time. And next is make it sacred. Treat these inspired habits like a sacred ritual, not a chore. It's your daily devotion to becoming your true self and the fastest path to living the life of your dreams. Now let's work on building your epic morning ritual. So let's design this. So on your piece of paper or in your journal, write my morning ritual. And then answer these 3 questions. How much time do I realistically have? How do I want to feel after my ritual? And what are 3 to 5 practices that could support that feeling? Now you can work on some of the ones we've discussed here. Maybe you have some others that you want to do. Do what feels right for you. This is about creating your epic morning ritual. Again, I do what feels right to me. Do what feels right to you. You know what your true self needs in order to feel fulfilled and to start your day with the intention that you seek. I'm going to give you maybe 3 minutes to work on that. My morning ritual, and then these 3 questions. How much time do I realistically have? And look, even 10 minutes is okay if that's all you got. Just make it. Make it your ritual. How do I want to feel after this ritual? There are 3 to 5 practices that support that feeling. I'm going to give you, maybe 3 minutes to work on that. All right. Now, if you're doing those, let me know. Do you need more time? Or raise your hand if you're done. All right. Moving on. Answer these questions as well. Consider now that you have those. If you're still working on them, that's okay. But where will this happen? Meaning, where will you work on these morning rituals? And also, what is not allowed during this time? So you want to be intentional with this time. So if you're creating, how much time you have, how do you want to feel, after those rituals? And then, what are the 3 to 5 practices that would help you support that feeling? Where would you do it? And what is not allowed during this time? All right, and now let's get into designing our epic evening ritual. And if you want to include any of those in the chat, by all means, please share. If you want any feedback on any of those, please let me know. So, designing your epic evening ritual. Your morning ritual is how you start your day with intention. But starting your day right is only possible if you close your day strong so that you're able to properly rest and reset. These two rituals are at opposite ends of your day, but are completely linked together. The time before we go to sleep is vital in getting proper rest. Like our bodies digest our dinner while we sleep, our minds digest what we feed them before bed as well. Think about that. We know how we feel if we eat a bunch of heavy food or a bunch of things that we're not used to eating or really acidic food. We know how it makes us feel. If we eat a bunch of junk food, we don't feel great because our body's digesting that while we sleep. The same goes for what we feed our brains or what we put into our minds before we get to bed. So if you go to bed worried, you'll wake up worried. If you go to sleep angry, you'll carry that anger with you into tomorrow too. If you go to bed absorbing horrible news stories, you'll probably feel anxious and on edge in the morning. But the opposite is also true. If you go to bed feeling satisfied with your day, you'll wake up energized for what's ahead. If you journaled about what you want tomorrow to be like, you'll awake with purpose and clarity. If you end your night with quality time with your family, you'll wake up with love and gratitude. Your evening journal is all about closure. Most people end their day the same way they started it, overstimulated, distracted, and unfinished. Your evening ritual is not about fixing the day. It's not about cramming more in or numbing ourselves before bed. Meaning numbing by just, watching, Netflix or news or something till we fall asleep, or, weed or alcohol or pills or something that help us sleep. No numbing, just restful sleep. It's about closing the day strong. It's about leaving behind your burdens and carrying forward your wins for the day. There's always something to celebrate each day. Even if it was just making it the day through, overcoming the challenges that you dealt with. That is a win. A win is some special time that we spend with those we care about. A win is being in touch with someone we haven't talked to in a while. A win may be an incredible work win or something in our career or spiritual growth, their fitness goal that we got to the gym, going on a walk, doing our exercises this afternoon. That was a win. But when you don't close the mental loops, your mind keeps working on them at night. When you don't celebrate your day, you don't maintain positive momentum into tomorrow. The evening ritual says, your epic evening ritual says, today is complete. I'm ready for tomorrow. I can rest now. Today is complete. I'm ready for tomorrow. I can rest now. I love this one. Have you ever seen any stuff by Prince EA? He's a motivational speaker and content creator. And he has this great inspirational video. And he says in it, if you had $1 million thoroughbred racehorse, would you give it cigarettes, alcohol, and junk food and let it stay up late watching TV? No, of course not. So why do we do this to ourselves, our brain and our bodies? You want to feed your body and your brain only the healthiest food and content. You're worth far more than a racehorse who lives in a stall. You're worth more than anything in the world. You are a human being who can do more than just run fast. You can create amazing things. And this world needs you to be at your best and leave it better than when you found it. So here are some building blocks to build a strong foundation for your epic evening ritual. Choose what works for you. Choose what feels calming and supportive so that you can close the day strong. So there's reflection, writing down our wins for the day or our lessons learned from the day, gratitude, journaling and meditation, expressing our gratitude for the day. We also want to release, whether that's a brain dump, just writing down random thoughts from the day, what you think, what you're thinking about, what's going on. Emotional processing, like I said earlier about the AM building blocks, or tips, is awareness. You want to be aware. Release. Be aware of the emotions you felt during the day. What was that like? You want to prepare. Some light planning for tomorrow. And I'm just saying what I do each evening, and this doesn't have to work for you, but I look at my schedule, I look at my goals, and I look at the things I have to do. I say, here are my big 3 priorities for the next day. Remember, if you have more than 3 priorities, you have none. Or the big 3 priorities, the big 3 things that you'll get done the next day. And then I text those to my accountability partner. And then regulation. I talked about earlier the practices of saying I love you in the mirror and saying it's going to be an amazing day. Regulation, the practice of, breathing like we did earlier, or calming practice like placing on your hand on your heart and saying I love you as you fall into blissful sleep. Notice your breath. Notice your chest rising and lowering, expanding and contracting. Just be aware of your body, aware of your breathing. Invite calm into your body. Be present. Be present at night. You want to make an effort to be fully present with yourself and those you love. It means trying to eliminate distractions, especially the phone, which is a weapon of mass distraction. As a society, we're so distracted with all our apps, social media, texts, and emails, reminders, and notifications that we are getting very far removed from ourselves and our families. Here's a really poignant quote. I say it in different workshops as well, but I put it in my new book, The Light in the Mirror. It says, your cell phone won't feel bad if you don't pay attention to it. It won't care if you haven't played with it in a while. It won't mind if you don't hold it. Your cell phone will be small forever. Your children will not. For the sake of our loved ones, our children, our friends, our pets, our partners, and ourselves, put down the phone. Even for a few minutes, try to be fully present. Life is passing us by while we spend countless hours on these stupid devices that we call smartphones. A best practice is not to use your phone for the first and last hours of the day. This allows you to disconnect from all the distractions of the world and reconnect with yourself during the most important moments of your day, meaning the first hour of the morning and the last hour of the day. No phones. It's helped me immeasurably and reduced my level of anxiety and allowed me to connect with my true self. Now, is it more natural to fall asleep with your hands on your heart saying, I love you, as you drift off to best blissful sleep? Or to drift off with your hand on the remote as you binge watch Netflix movies with action and violence? Feed your brain only positive content before you sleep. Read a book, exercise, or listen to something inspiring. Your brain is processing what you consume as you fall asleep. So the PM journal I spoke about earlier, your evening journal. Take just a few minutes before bed and write down 3 things in your journal. Your wins from today, Write down, celebrate your wins for the day. Second, how you want to show up tomorrow. How do you want to show up tomorrow? Whatever that is. Fully present or peaceful or abundant, or, I want to show up to kick the world in the ass because it's my time to shine. How do you want to show up tomorrow? How do you want to show up tomorrow? Set your intention. Do that, in the evening, so that way you fall asleep. And when you wake up the next morning, you know what to do. Your big 3 priorities for tomorrow. What are the 3 things that you're going to get done tomorrow? Hopefully that align with your true self. Your big 3 are the most important things to get done. You journal these every night so that you can wake up clear and aligned. So that it becomes true when you wake up, say it's going to be an amazing day. It will be. These shouldn't just be small tasks that you'll get done, meaning your big 3 should be, 3 things that help you live as your true self and achieve your big goals. By journaling before bed, you allow your brain to work on your priorities while you sleep. And you know exactly where to go when your feet hit the floor in the morning. There's no more wondering how the day will go. Thomas Edison said, never go to sleep without a request of your subconscious. Why not let your brain work for you while you sleep? It takes less than 3 minutes each night before you head off to bed. Next, you want to get at least 7 hours of sleep, if at all possible. Now, I'm not a sleep expert, but roughly, generally people say sort of 6 to 8, 7 or 8 is the window for adults. You can't perform at your best when you're constantly running on fumes. And sleep is not a luxury, it's a foundation. Just like you wouldn't skip meals and expect to thrive physically, you can't sacrifice sleep every night and expect to thrive mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. By getting 7 hours of sleep, you get the proper rest and reset that your body and mind deserve. During deep sleep, your brain clears out mental clutter and your body repairs itself and your nervous system rebalances. Creativity, clarity, patience, and emotional regulation all depend on how well you sleep. Now, another great evening building block is review your habit tracker. Tally up your daily score. If you haven't downloaded it before, we will email it with the recap of today's workshop. And I think we also have it available on our website as well. It's a way of tracking your habits, those things that you want to work on or improve every day. Keep daily track of your consistency. In the evening, make a check mark next to each habit that you accomplish. And at the end of each day, you want to tally them up, and you can write the total in the daily score row. And the end of each week, you can write as well. So I see, we put the link there for the habit tracker. So if you don't have it, you can get it there in the chat. And we also have tools that help you develop the habit tracker. If you need any support in that, by all means, email me at ben@benparvey.com. So now, I've given you some things that you can possibly do, but it's up to you. Let's build your evening ritual in a way that feels natural to you. So like we did with the epic morning ritual, I want you to write on your piece of paper in your journal, my evening ritual, and then answer these 3 questions. How much time do I want here? How do I want to feel going to bed? And which 3 to 5 practices support that feeling? And I'll give you like 3 minutes to work on that. How much time do I want, meaning at the end of the day for your epic evening ritual? How do I want to feel going to bed? And which 3 to 5 practices support that feeling? All right. Just like we did before, with our epic morning ritual, let's do that with our epic evening ritual. And similarly, let me ask you a couple other questions. Um, what habit or behavior needs to stop at night? What habit or behavior needs to stop at night? And then also, what signals the end of my day? What signals the end of the day? All right. So take just another couple seconds. I know we're getting close to time, but let's keep going here. And if you can put those in here in the chat. Jeff, Scott needs to stop watching a show on your phone before sleep. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that blue light from the phone, it keeps us awake. I mean, what naturally allows us to get rested sleep is really the light signals. I mean, if we talk about living as our true selves in nature, it is the sun cycle that is how our brains naturally are triggered that it's time for sleep. And so, by prolonging that with a lot of artificial light and all the electricity that we create from different devices, really at night you want low light and no screens. I mean that definitely, getting rid of the phone or TV before, more than an hour before bed is really recommended. Um, Yeah, and then signaling the end of the day, for Jeff is his dog says it's time for her final pee and lets her out and then goes to bed. And we all have similar shutting down routines. For some reason my dogs go out a little bit earlier than that, and I know that they're done at that point. And actually, our 1.5 year old gold retriever, she goes and crawls under the bed. It's the weirdest thing. She sleeps under the bed. Um, and she like craps out by like 9:30 saying like she's done. She does, she can't do anything else for the day. Um, but yeah, I mean, I have a series of things like that signal the end of my day, tucking my 4 year old in. Since she takes long naps during the day, she also goes to bed later and stays up after everyone else. So we tuck her in. My evening journaling, once I do my PM journal, that's kind of like the last thing I do before I go to bed. Signals the end of my day as well. Now, with all of these things, I know you may be saying that you don't have enough time for all this, but the biggest ritual killer isn't lack of time. It's all or nothing thinking. It's saying, I can't get to all this, so I'm not going to do anything. And some days you'll do the full ritual, meaning you create what it is in your epic morning and evening ritual. And some days you won't, and that's normal. What matters is having a bare minimum version, the parts of your ritual that are sacred and non-negotiable. Like for me, it's meditation in the morning. And I mean, I have the other things that come in too, but then in the evening, it's doing my evening journal. Now, do I get to those, every day? No, but I do have a pretty strong epic morning ritual and epic evening ritual. And I do get to most of them most days. But it's okay if you miss some. The point here, again, is not perfection. What matters is having, a bare minimum version that you try to get to and the parts of your ritual that are sacred and non-negotiable. And I mean, consider what you can do to protect that time. Missing a day doesn't mean that you failed. It means you return. That's the beauty of daily rituals. You get to impart meaning into every single day. And when life feels overwhelming and chaotic, you can always look forward to grounding and presence of your next ritual. Now, as far as integrating it into your life, the ritual is not something you do. These epic morning and evening rituals aren't something you do. Routines are something you do. These rituals are something you become. They're a part of your true self. You're creating sacred time not to escape your life, but to live more fully in your life. I invite you to commit to this just as a 7-day experiment, not forever, just for 7 days, while building strong habits definitely takes more than a week. You'll see the benefits of these rituals on your life immediately. More restful sleep, alignment and clarity in your daily life, and a strong foundation to return to when the overwhelm of modern life creeps in. So take just another moment. If you can, close your eyes and take a final deep breath. Deep breath in through your nose, hold it, and sigh it out. And ask yourself, who will I become when I honor myself with epic daily rituals? Who will I become when I honor myself with these daily rituals every day? If you want to live life more fully and live as your true self now, then you will give yourself this time in the morning and in the evening to live your life more fully, to live as your true self, because becoming your future self, becoming the person you want to be, living the life of your dreams is not a distant destination. It is a practice you do today. You start living as the person you are meant to be today. And soon you become that person. We don't just set goals and hope that we get to some distant place. We set our intention and our rituals to help us become our true selves today. When you create this space for yourself and you create this space in your life, you will be transformed in ways that you can't imagine. Because you have opened up your life. You have opened yourself up to living as your true self today. Now, I want to thank you for showing up for yourself today, because this is how change actually begins, by working together. And so many people express what they are working on, what they want to get rid of, and what they want to welcome into their lives. So we're going to let go of what no longer serves us, and we are going to welcome in what makes us our true selves today. That's how change begins, starting and ending each day with an epic ritual that gets you to live the epic life that you deserve, to live the life of your dreams, to live your life of love, happiness, and bliss. So I want to thank each and every one of you for being here today. As a reminder, tomorrow is Friday, which means it's our Inspiration Nation Community Happy Hour. So hopefully you will join us for that. If you aren't familiar or haven't been to Happy Hour, then let me tell you, it is how we close our week strong. It is our epic end of the week ritual. We reflect on our wins for the week, and we set our intention for the next week, our big 3 priorities for the next week. And we talk about some of the things we discussed today. We go a little bit deeper and a lot more casual. This is a workshop, so I'm presenting the material we get through. But in Happy Hour, we share, we have some journal prompts, and we have a great time. So I want to thank each of you for attending today. As always, you can follow us on social media. Encourage you, if you haven't done it, to go much, much deeper with our True Self project. It's just a 30-day habit challenge. It's only $30, meaning $1 a day, and it's worth far more than that. We created content for months, and we have a video every single day, 5 to 15 minutes, and we have journal prompts and exercises that go from outlining the vision for your life, creating the goals that are going to help you get there, and then the habits to put in place that are going to help you achieve those goals and make achieving those goals inevitable by living as your true self today, the way I was discussing as we were wrapping up. So, the link is there if you want to join the True Self Project. Happy to also provide, coaching associated with that to help support you if you have questions regarding the True Self Project. Join us for happy hour tomorrow. That's Fridays at noon. And we'll have some more information there. Also happy to announce we have if you haven't seen it yet, we have our Rooted and Reignited retreat that's coming up in September. So that is a fully immersive 4-day retreat that will transform your life so that you will find that peace and clarity you seek by living every day intentionally. We're going to start with getting rid of those things that no longer serve us and allow all those challenges to fall away. And then we will go through setting our intention on how to live as our true selves. And you will leave with a clear roadmap and a clear plan for living every day habitually inspired. It's a great way to do that. It's September 10th through 13th in Vermont. If you can make it, great. I understand it's far. If not, we have lots of other resources to help you. So, Jenna, I'm glad you attended as well. Welcome. I didn't realize this was your first workshop. Happy to have you here. And I appreciate, it means a lot to me that you think it was a good way to spend the time. That is, it truly means a lot to me. We do these as a way to inspire people, raise the collective consciousness, and share some of the information that we've gained over the years. And also happy to take questions. I see my good friend Deborah has a question. Deborah, what do you got, sister?
Well, I wanted to thank you, Ben, for repeating these workshops. I'm getting a lot out of them. I'm turning the corner from employment to getting into my True Self project, and I'll send you an email. I don't want to take the time now, but tomorrow I really do want to be on the meeting, but we'll be taking our 14-year-old grandson to Cincinnati for his basketball tournament. So,
that's great.
Yeah, so it looks like it's to be a wonderful weekend. We're going to stop on the way back and see the Ark exhibit, the Noah's Ark exhibit. If you haven't heard of that, yeah, it's amazing. It's it's outside of Cincinnati. Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, best of luck to him in his basketball tournament. And then, just shoot me an email. I'll connect with you about True Self Project. But yeah, I'm glad
thank you.
Getting going on it.
Thank you, Ben. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, bless you, dear. Thank you.
You. Bye-bye.
Anyone else have any questions or anything that I can answer? All right. Well, I really appreciate everyone joining. By all means, you can always email me at ben@benparvey.com and join us tomorrow for our Inspiration Nation Community Happy Hour. It's a lot, less structured and more fun. Not that we didn't have some fun today, but it's a great way to close your week strong and go into the weekend knowing that you have an intention set for the next week. So bless you all. Thank you for being here. Remember to be fully aware, and you are made of the same stuff as stars and are meant to shine. Bless you all. Be well.